You're modeling the most interesting parts of yourself, just so you can be easier to summarize. Welcome to The Friction, where the uncomfortable questions live. I'm Ifeoluwa, and this is where we sit with what most people run from. In our last episode, we sat with the high cost of being relatable. We talked about how the desperate need to fit in, to be liked, and to appear consistent slowly chips away at our edges, 2 seconds at a time, until we are entirely flat. Today, I want to talk about what happens when you refuse to be flat. I want to talk about how originality is actually constructed. Because we have this romanticized, ridiculous idea that originality is something you're born with. We think original people just wake up with a sparkling, unique version that nobody else has. But that's a lie. See, originality is not a gift. It is an architecture. And the foundation of that architecture is something most of us spend our entire lives trying to run away from. And that is your own internal contradictions. We're obsessed with being coherent. From the moment we are old enough to talk, the world demands that we choose a lane. We are told to build a neat, digestible brand. We are asked, are you the creative type? Or are you the analytical type? Are you spiritual? Or are you strategic? Are you a corporate professional? Or are you a wild, expressive artist? We treat our internal contradictions like bugs in our softwares. We think, if I contain opposing forces, it means I'm broken. It means I'm confused. And I need to resolve this so people understand me. So what do? We start self-censoring. We quietly murder the parts of ourselves that don't fit the neat label we've chosen. If you are the serious analytical professional, you hide your weird, chaotic, creative side because you don't want the people to think you're unserious. If you are the spiritual, conscious person, you hide your raw ambition because you don't want to look greedy. We sand down our jagged edges until we're perfectly round, perfectly smooth, and perfectly relatable. But here's the friction. The version of you that makes sense to everybody is a version nobody remembers. I'm gonna say it one more time and slowly. The version of you that makes sense to everybody is the version nobody remembers. When you fit too neatly into a box, the only thing you can produce is a slightly different version of what already exists in that box. And the truth? I have been sitting with my own contradictions lately, and honestly, they used to make me feel like a fraud. I used to tell to myself, if I choose one. So there's a part of me that is deeply, intensively reclusive. I crave absolute solitude. I want to shut my door, lock my phone in a drawer, ignore messages for days and exist entirely in my own head. And sometimes it's been perceived. But then there is this other part of me, the part that hosts the friction, the part that wants to put my deepest psychological guts on the internet, speak to thousands of strangers, start loud conversations, and simply disrupt the status quo. And for a very long time, I tried to make these two versions of me fight. I thought, Ifeoluwa, you have to pick one. You can't be a quiet recluse and a public voice. It doesn't make sense, darling. You look inconsistent. That is what I said to myself. But when I stopped trying to force a truce, something shifted. I realized that the solitude is exactly what gives my voice its weight. And the public voice is exactly what keeps my solitude from turning into isolation. The ideas I bring to this microphone are born from the tension between the two. Let me paint a picture for you. As much as I interact with the outside world and I'm jovial about it, this is what my internal compass looks like. We have 3 Ife, the moderator, the defender, and what is it called? Should I say the avenger? I don't know. But yeah, that's the picture that goes on. So mostly there's a calm in me, but within me there is a tension and a wrestling. Oftentimes the ideas I bring to this place are a combination of both that I've said. Now, see, I'm learning that my originality does not live in my solitude, and it does not live in my performance. It simply lives in the friction where those two words collide. And I suspect you're carrying a similar war inside you right now. You already know your own version of it. The side of you that plans everything down to the minute. And the side that wants to burn the plan and see what happens anyway. The side that needs structure to feel safe. And the side that's suffocating inside. Why are you trying to resolve that? See, that tension is not a defect. That tension is your raw material. If you look at the people who actually shift the culture, they are never coherent. They are paradoxes. Now, as usual, I studied for this episode. And here is what I realized. There's a psychiatrist named Albert Rothenberg who spent decades studying how Nobel laureates and Pulitzer Prize winners actually think. He stumbled upon something he called Janusian thinking, named after Janus, the Roman god with 2 faces looking in opposite directions. The capacity to hold 2 completely contradictory ideas as both true at the same time. Not as a phase on the way to picking one, as the actual site of the breakthrough. He found it in Einstein, in Picasso, in Mozart. And here's the thing, it wasn't the moment they resolved the contradiction, it was the moment they stopped needing to. They're artists who think like capitalists. They are deeply spiritual people who are aggressively strategic. They are grounded, peaceful souls who are relentless in their execution. And as I'm saying this, I'm just realizing that the people that I admire, that I look up to, they are like this. There is the global Tammy on Instagram, that's Temilade Salami, and she is deeply spiritual yet aggressively strategic. Everything that she has built has not been by negating one side and saying, okay, this is who I am, and forgetting the other. It is an intersection of a deeply spiritual person who is strategic. I think of Salem King. He is a grounded, peaceful soul who is relentless in execution. They don't fit into normal idioms. They live in the empty spaces between them. They live at the intersection of both. And when you refuse to resolve your internal contradictions just to make the room comfortable, your thinking suddenly gains a 3rd dimension. You stop copying what is already there because you are pulling from 2 completely different wells of inspiration. See, originality is not invented from nothing. You don't snap your finger and go abracadabra and then you become original in your thinking and in your execution. See, it is born when 2 seemingly opposing words collide. It is born when 2 seemingly opposing words are forced to live in the same mind. And you have the courage to let them fight, to let them wrestle, to let them meet. So, how do we build this architecture? It starts with a very, very uncomfortable psychological interrogation. Now, I'm not going to give you a neat, cozy journal prompt. I hardly do that myself. I want you to look at the part of yourself you've put in the closet because they ruin your brand, or they just don't fit what society has tagged as this. What are the two truths that you feel like they shouldn't exist in the same body? Identify them, and instead of trying to cure yourself of them, let them work together. Stop keeping the sides of you separate. The rigor you bring to your work, let it show in how you build your art. The wildness you only let out at night alone, let it leak into the room where everyone thinks they've already figured you out. And the truth is, it's going to feel messy. It's going to make the people around you uncomfortable because they won't know how to categorize you anymore. Heck, it might even cost you friends. It might cost you people you thought would be there. I'm realizing that. But when you become difficult to categorize, you gain a dangerous kind of freedom. People lose the ability to predict you. They lose the ability to reduce you. They can no longer control you by appealing to your brand. You stop performing consistency for their approval. See, the most liberating sentence you can ever say to yourself is this: I'm allowed to contain multitude, and I do not have to make sense to you. I'll take it one more time. I am allowed to contain multitude, and I do not have to make sense to you. So, this is the friction for today. Not the rejection of community, but the refusal to be simplified by it. The question I'm sitting with, and the one I leave you with, is this: what part of your internal paradox are you currently trying to kill, just to make the people around you more comfortable, or just to become more relatable? And what will happen, what might happen, give yourself the chance to picture this, what might happen to your work, your life, and your soul if you finally let it live? That's the friction for today. Sit with that. And share it with someone who is currently trying too hard to make sense. I'll see you next time.